Hello, everyone, and a very warm welcome. I'm Shekha Kaushik, a psychologist, author, and a mental health advocate. And I'm proud to be part of Therapist Solution, where we work closely with mental health professionals. At Therapist Solution, founded by Sajid Mola, our focus is on empowering professionals, helping them grow their practice, voice, and impact in a meaningful way. And today's conversation focuses on challenge that many practice owners silently struggle with: operational overwhelm. I'm joined by Devin Francisco, founder of the Balanced Business, who helps entrepreneurs, founders, and practice owners reclaim their time through operations, administrative support, and practice management. Devin, it's a pleasure to have you with us.
Thank you so much for having me.
So, the first and foremost thing, please give a brief introduction of yourself. How would you introduce yourself and the work that you do for the entrepreneurs, founders, and the practice owners?
Yeah. So my name is Devin Francisco. I own the Balance Business. It's a virtual assistance agency. We focus on helping mental health practice owners with their operational support, billing, client intake. We help all kinds of entrepreneurs with um, entre- uh, operational support as well. Um, I am a military spouse, so I created my business with the need for freedom and flexibility. And essentially, that's what I want to give to the entrepreneurs that I serve.
So, first and foremost, a great salute to you. You, your husband is doing a
Thank
great
you.
work.
Thank you.
And
Yeah,
you are doing a very valuable work because honestly, the many professionals underestimate how much operational structure impacts on overall business growth. We can just grow the business, but
absolutely.
sometimes we get just stuck with the operational growth that we have to do all the things on our own then. So,
Yeah, so basically, I'm taking my MBA experience and my healthcare operations experience and using that to help small practice owners, um, specifically the ones that they're solo practitioners and they don't really know what they're doing, right?
the
They didn't sign
solopreneurs.
up to be entrepreneur. Yeah, they didn't sign up to be entrepreneurs. They went to school to be a
Mhm.
therapist, and you know, here we are. Yeah, so.
I think so right now, most of the psychologists are solopreneurs. Somehow, though we didn't sign up for it, but now we all are solopreneurs.
Yeah, yeah.
So you often talk about helping business owners reclaim their time. Why is time management such a major challenge in practice owners today?
Well, specifically for mental health practice owners, they are spending the majority of their day with clients, hearing what I can imagine is heavy things, right? Taking on the burden of all their clients' trauma and stresses. And then they go home to do admin work, operational work. So reclaiming that time is very important to them because, you know, we all just want to wear all the hats,
Yeah.
and eventually that just leads to burnout.
Basically overwhelmed with the daily responsibilities that we do. For example,
Yeah,
at noon, we are going over there and talking to our clients, helping them. And then after evening, we are doing our operational work. So,
yeah, and then there's family and kids,
yes.
and all of that in the mix as well.
From your experience, what are the biggest operational or administrative mistakes that holds practice back from growing effectively?
um Not creating or not putting systems in place,
Hmm.
and thinking that you can do it all, especially billing. So when the
Understood.
practice owners are doing their own billing,
Hmm.
it just takes so much time away from them calling insurance companies, verifying benefits. Like these are tedious things that they shouldn't be doing. They should be delegating.
So, without structure, growth can quickly become a chaotic instead of sustainable. That's what you are
Oh,
planning it.
absolutely.
So,
Absolutely. And that applies to any that applies to any industry, that applies to your
hmm.
home. Um, yeah, without
Yeah,
systems, there's no structure.
but I think so. With this mental health practitioners, that is something very important because talking to patients and then talking to the insurance companies, and sometimes you're doing the billing, it's a very tedious, and sometimes you have just 40 minutes for a counseling session, then you have 40 minutes for all the billing structures that you have to do. So that's also sometimes
Absolutely.
become a drawback for us.
Absolutely.
So
I
many
see it every day.
yes, unfortunately. So
Yeah.
many professionals feels like they have become employees instead of their own business, instead of the true owners. When does that happen? And why does that happen?
That happen especially with the solo practice owners, that happens because one, they're not getting paid enough, right?
Yes.
So, especially the ones that take insurance, insurances do not pay nearly enough to cover overhead, employees, contractors.
Hmm.
So I feel like a lot of practice owners think that they need to do it all to save
Money.
on money, but really what it does, it just creates burnout and they end up losing money because that is not they're not an expert
Hmm.
in that, right? They're an expert in whatever modality they're specialized in. They're an expert in their client care. They're not an expert in operations or billing. So when they take on that work, they're just losing money because they're losing time away from doing revenue generating activities.
Yeah, that reminds me. Where I come from, India, we have PCB, that is science completely, and then there is science maths. So what most of the practice owners suggest is that we have read biology, we haven't read mathematics, so we don't know about numbers. So that's where
Yeah,
I think so the biggest mistake that owners do sometimes. So,
yeah, absolutely.
so how important are systems, workflows, and operational structures when it comes to reducing stress and scaling sustainability?
It's the most important.
Yeah.
It is the most important. It is what's going to allow anyone to come into your business
Hmm.
and know what to do. It's going to reduce the cost of training, the cost of changing employees. So yeah, I mean, workflows and systems is the most important thing that any business can do to scale.
So basically, strong systems don't improve efficiency, they create stability, which in
Absolutely.
introduce helps them grow their business.
Yes, absolutely. And it helps their business survive without them.
Absolutely.
So that they don't need to feel like they're the only one that can do a certain thing, or if they
Hmm.
need a day off or taking a vacation, that their whole operations is going to fall apart.
So many mental
So
health professionals struggle to balance care delivery with business operations. What advice would you give them?
choose a lane. I don't think I don't think that
That's
they should
brilliant.
be. Yeah, I don't think that they should be handling care
Hmm.
delivery and operations. Choose a lane. And that doesn't necessarily mean that they cannot have their hands in the operation,
Hmm.
but don't try to do both at once. So if if you know that you want your hands in the operations a little bit, choose a day. You see clients on Monday, Tuesday. On Wednesday, you do your admin, your operations, and then,
Hmm.
and divide that by days. Because if you decide that you're going to see clients in the morning and then do your operations in between clients,
Hmm.
it's just going to get messy.
Absolutely. So, do you believe that having the right operational system and support allows a professional to focus more on impact and growth?
Absolutely. So, what I've noticed too is a lot of practice owners eventually
Hmm.
want to transition out of client care. And a lot of therapists are finding very creative ways to make income that has nothing to do with providing client care. But
Hmm.
they need the space to kind of think that through, what that looks like for them. They need the
Hmm.
space to create and to focus on revenue generating activities.
I completely agree with you. And this is something we strongly believe at Therapist Solution as well. When professionals have the right visibility, structure, and operational support, they are able to grow more intentionally and sustainably. So, my final
Mhm.
question, and that is my favorite part. What would you say to founders or practice owners who are hesitant to delegate because they feel they need to control everything themselves? And we have those in abundance. But okay.
We do. And we all have that feeling, even
Hmm.
I preach delegation and it's hard. But if you can just let go a little bit, even start slowly.
Hmm.
Don't let go of everything all at once. And just because you let go and delegate of a certain task doesn't mean that you lose sight of what's going on. You can still oversee, you should still
Hmm.
oversee and confirm. But you don't have to do it all. And delegation is key. Without it, you are going to burn out. And I would start immediately. I help a lot of practice owners that
Okay.
are just building their practice.
Hmm.
And I love it because I'm like, wow, you came to me before the burnout. And that is the smartest thing that you can do. Use it as a startup cost,
Hmm.
this operational support as startup cost. Having a right hand by your side to not only help you with the operations part, but to help you with strategy. Um, to help you make the systems right away
Hmm.
before things get out of hand.
Wow. So that's a very powerful way to frame it. Delegation creates space for growth, clarity, and a long term sustainability. I've spoken too many times sustainability. I think so people should take a hint by now. So, Devin, thank you
Yeah.
so much for sharing your insights today. This conversation highlights something many professionals need to hear. Growth is not just about working harder, it's about building systems, structure, and support that allows you to grow without burning out. At Therapist Solution, we remain committed to helping mental health professionals and life coaches build structured visibility, strong positioning, and sustainable growth in their private practice. Thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you.